Our last section that we're going to focus on is the grading section for Edmodo. So that being said, we need to click on Grades, which is right next to Calendar. When you click on it, you'll be given a drop-down menu. You can choose from any of your courses of which you need to give grades or you need to check their grades. For these purposes, I'm going to click on Dolphins. And the only student I have registered right now is Mr. John Smith. As your class gets larger, you will see all of your students and you will have all of their grades down here. I can actually go through and grade anything I need to. Right now his total is an 88%. On a pop quiz he received 27 out of 30. On his algebra quiz he had a 2 out of 2. And his daily word problems he got a 0 out of 1. If you remember, these two were actually given to them through Edmodo. The daily word problem, I actually had to go through and check his word problem. So, for instance, he wrote, Mary bought 16 apples for 82 cents each. How much did she spend in all? I gave him 0 credit for that because it did not involve any variables. To do so, you just click right here and it will say, and it would give me an option to do 0, 1, 2 out of 5, however many you choose. I wrote a comment that said this did not follow the instructions. The word problem does not involve variables. And then I click submit, and he can actually go back and read what I have written. And if I want, I can give him the chance to resubmit that. If I go back to my grades, if you notice my pop quiz, I never gave a pop quiz to any of my students through Edmodo. This is actually an assignment that I've created that was done in class. So for example, I could say workbook pages 34 and 35. If you remember, I put those on the calendar, but I didn't assign them through Edmodo, but they're still on the calendar. The total points I want to make possible on that, it's homework. I might make it worth 10. Add grade. Now if you notice, there's no grade right here for that workbook page. If I click on it, however, it gives me my total and I can write what they got out of 10. All I need to write, maybe they got an 8 out of 10, they didn't finish it all the way. And then I click away from it and it saves it and it adjusts their total percentage here. You can do this for all of your students, which is wonderful, and then you can actually see how they're doing throughout the class, how your class is doing as a whole, and they get this same screen. They get to see their grades and they get to see their percentage. They can go back and check any notes that you have written, and this gives them a way to be more involved in their actual grades. It allows to see how an 8 out of 10 in homework can actually affect their grade. They went down by 2 percentage points just because they got an 80% in their homework. If I need to go back and adjust that, all I do is click on it. I can give them a 9 out of 10. And their percentage went back up. If I need to adjust their pop quiz score, I can do that. If I need to adjust their quiz score, I can do that. If I need to adjust their daily word problem score, I can do that. Maybe they went back and resubmitted their word problem and they got 100. I can change that, and as you can see, their score goes up as well. If their algebra quiz, maybe I gave them extra credit and I can give them a 3 out of 2. Once again, their totals have gone up. You can adjust all of their grades, which is a wonderful thing. But you only have one class at a time, so you need to make sure you go to each group that you would like to do that with. If you click on John Smith, you get all of the assignments that he has done over time. I get his total points. I get the total points per package here, per assignment. And you also see a graph over time how his grades are pretty high here, and then they start dwindling down over here. Either way, that's John Smith. If I click on John Smith again, I can receive a little bit more information about him. Click back to grades, and I can see my class as a whole. And that's all you need to know for grades.